Pastor Louis again, continuing on our study on the Bible places, its significance, and insights we could glean from them. Tonight, we're going to study the city of Madaba. Where is this place located? What are the significant events that happened in Madaba? What lessons and insights can we glean from this place called Madaba? Did you know that many civilizations existed on the soils of Madaba, namely the Moabites, the Nabateans, the Romans, and even the Arab Muslim empires? And did you know that many are considered biblical and ancient history sites in Madaba, some of which are Mount Nebo, which is the highest peak mountain in Moab, where Moses viewed the promised land before his death, but he wasn't able to enter the promised land. The second is the place called Mukhawar, where the body of Saint John the Baptist supposedly lies after he was beheaded at the request of King Herod Antipas' niece, and the famous Madaba map. What is Madaba map? This is the oldest evidence of ancient cartography and the oldest known geographic floor mosaic in existence that was discovered in St. George's Church. This is Madaba. Did you know that the town Madaba was once a Moabite border according to biblical account, and its ancient name is Medeba. It was mentioned 5 times in the Old Testament. Numbers 21 verse 30. But we have a shot at them. Heshbon has perished as far as Dibon. Then we laid waste as far as Nophah, which reaches to Medeba or Madaba. Did you know that the book of Numbers concentrates on events of Israel that take place in the 2nd and 40th years after Exodus in Egypt? You know, Numbers chapters 1 to 25 deals with the experience of the first generation of Israel in the wilderness. Israel, as a nation, both obeyed and disobeyed the Lord for 40 years during their pilgrimage or their journey to the promised land, or called Canaan. They complained, they rebelled, they suffered consequences, and renewed complaining during their journey. That's the context of Numbers 21. Now, the second mention is in Joshua 13 and verses 9 and 16. Israel was at the end of its 40 years wilderness wandering. By this time, Moses passed the baton of leadership to Joshua. Joshua led Israel to drive out most of the Canaanites and distributed the land to the 12 tribes, thus fulfilling the Lord's promise to Abraham and his descendants, as well as to pass judgment on the sinful inhabitants. What are their sins? They were idol worshippers, those people in the promised land. Chapters 13 to 22 deals with the distribution of the land or the portions to the 12 tribes along with specific instructions. The third mention or the fourth mention is in 1 Chronicles 19:7. 1 Chronicles records that the Jews returned to the promised land from the 70-year Babylonian captivity. This time, this land is totally different from the ones ruled by King David and King Solomon. There was no Hebrew when they returned to the promised land. There was no Hebrew king, but rather Persian governor. There was no security for Jerusalem, so Nehemiah had to rebuild the wall in Nehemiah 1-7. There was no temple, so Zerubbabel had to reconstruct a semblance of Solomonic temple, former glory. Chapters 1 to 9 of Chronicles record selective genealogy, history of Israel, while chapters 10 to 29 deals with Israel's united kingdom under King Saul and King David in chapter 11. What spiritual insights can we glean from First Chronicles? That God will be true to his covenant promises, and that obedience brings true blessings, while disobedience brings judgment. Repeat that. Israel experienced God's fulfillment of his covenant. Israel also experienced that obedience brings blessing. On the other side, Israel also experienced that disobedience brings judgment. The last mention is in Isaiah chapter 15, verse 2. Isaiah prophesied during the period of the divided kingdom, directing the major thrust of his message to the southern kingdom of Judah. Isaiah condemned the empty ritualism and the idolatry into which many people had fallen. Isaiah foresaw the coming of the Babylonian captivity of Judah because of their departure from the Lord. So Isaiah chapters 1 to 12 records the prophecies concerning Judah's social sins, political entanglements, while chapter 13 to 23, Isaiah records oracles of judgments and salvation regarding Babylon, Assyria, Philistia, and Moab, including Syria and Israel. Now, where is Madaba today? Madaba is one of the governorates, or a place where governor in Jordan administers. So Madaba is one of the governorates of Jordan, located 30 kilometers or 19 miles southwest of the present-day Jordan, capital Ammon. As of 2021, Madaba has 122,000 population, and currently the fifth most populous city in Jordan. The capital city of Madaba is 798 meters above sea level, while the Dead Sea is 300 meters below the sea level, resulting in a double-digit difference in temperatures between the two locations. Many are considered biblical sites and historical sites in Madaba, some of which, as I alluded a while ago, is Mount Nebo, which is 15 minutes from Madaba City or 30 minutes from the today's Queen Aliyah International Airport located in Amman, Jordan. So that Mount Nebo is known to be the peak of the mountain in Moab where Moses viewed the promised land. The second is the Mukawar, as I alluded a while ago, 15 kilometers south of Madaba City, where the body of Saint John the Baptist supposedly lies after he was beheaded at the request of King Herod Antipas' niece. And then last of the third is Madaba map, the only complete mosaic map of Jerusalem from the Byzantine era. So today, Madaba is called the city of mosaic, the city of mosaic in Jordan. What is a mosaic? A mosaic is a pattern or image made of small, irregular pieces of colored stones, glass, or ceramic, held and placed by a plaster or mortar covering a surface. Did you know that mosaics are often used as a floor decoration and wall decorations were particularly in the ancient Roman world? This mosaic map is one of the oldest, as I alluded a while ago, and ancient cartography and the oldest known geographic floor mosaic in existence. And it was discovered in St. George's Church in Madaba. When you go there, it is not oriented northward as modern maps are, but faces eastward toward the altar in such a fashion that the position of the place on the map coincides with a compass direction. Originally, it was measured 21 meter by 7 meter, but the current dimension now is 16 meter by 5 meter. You will notice that when you look closely at the mosaic map, it depicts an area of Lebanon in the north, to the Nile Delta in the south, from the Mediterranean Sea in the west, to the eastern desert. Among the other features depicted in mosaic map are the Dead Sea with 2 fishing boats, a variety of bridges linking the banks of Jordan, fish swimming in the river, lion hunting a gazelle in Moab desert, palm range in Jericho, and Bethlehem. The Madaba map also depicts a part of the Middle East and contains the oldest surviving original cartographic depiction of the hills and valleys and villages and towns of the Holy Land, and especially Jerusalem, dating back to 6th century AD, with 2 million pieces of vividly colored local stones. Did you know that Madaba used to have over 10 churches or monasteries with impressive mosaics before largely destroyed by an earthquake in 746 AD and subsequently abandoned? However, the remains of the mosaic map were rediscovered in 1884 by a group of Christians who moved there during the construction of the Greek Orthodox Church. The mosaic clearly shows a number of significant structures in the old city of Jerusalem: Damascus Gate, Lion's Gate, Golden Gate, Zion Gate, the Church of the Holy Sepulchre, the new Church of Theotokos, the Tower of David, and the Cardo Maximus. Other floor mosaic masterpieces are found in the Church of the Virgin and the Church of the Apostles, now preserved in the Archaeological Museum and Parks in Madaba. They depict various kinds of plants and animals, as well as the scenes of mythology. Did you know that Madaba have rich history and natural sites such as the main hot springs in Hamamat, Maine? Dead Sea, Madaba governorate depends mainly on tourism, so that Madaba is fifth tourist destination following Petra, Jerash, Aqaba, and Ammon. Did you know that many civilizations existed on the source of Madaba, as I alluded earlier, and most prominent are the Moabites, Nabateans, Romans, and Arab Muslims. Who are the Nabateans? For the sake of time, we'll only take Nabateans and Moabites. The Nabateans appear in the Hebrew Bible as a tribe descended from Nebaioth, the first son of Ishmael, that is the son of Abraham and mistress Hagar. Now, did you know that Madaba also was the location of the 2007 World Economic Forum on the Middle East? So, let's move on to Moab. What's the significance of Moab? Moab is mentioned 181 times in the Old Testament, and 33 reference of which are in Jeremiah. Did you know that Moab and Ammon were born to Lot, Lot's elder and younger daughters, respectively, in the aftermath of the destruction of Sodom and Gomorrah? So that the Bible refers to the Moabites and the Ammonites as Lot's sons born of incest with his daughters. So Madaba, the present Madaba, is in Moab. Now, other significance of this Madaba is that God renewed his covenant with Israel at Moab, where Madaba is, before the Israelites entered the promised land. Moses died there in Moab, prevented by God from entering the promised land, and he was also buried in an unknown location in Moab. And thus they have a memorial place or memorial church for Moses in Jordan. Another uh, significance of this is the book of Ruth. The entire book of Ruth testifies of friendly relations between the Moabites and Bethlehem, one of the towns of the tribe of Judah, so that the Moabite Ruth is regarded as a prototype of a convert to Judaism. So this is where we get this wonderful verse when Ruth said to her mother-in-law, entreat me not to leave you or to turn back from following after you, for wherever you go, I will go, and wherever you lodge, I will lodge. Your people shall be my people, and your God my God. Where you die, I will die, and there will I be buried. The Lord do so to me, and more also, if anything but that parts you and me. A wonderful relation between in-laws, a mother-in-law and a daughter-in-law. And last but not the least is the judgment of Moab is recorded in the book of Jeremiah. According to the book of Jeremiah, Moab was exiled to Babylon for his arrogance and his idolatry. Jeremiah prophesied that Moab's captivity will be returned in the end of days, and we are awaiting for that one. The book of Zephaniah states that Moab will assuredly be like Sodom, and the sons of Ammon like Gomorrah. So ground overgrown with weeds and full of salt mines and a permanent desolations. And so to close with this in a recap, many civilizations existed on the soils of Madaba or Medeba: the Moabites, the Nabateans, the Romans, and the Arab Muslims. And Mount Nebo is located in Madaba. Mukawar is also located in Madaba. And the oldest evidence ancient cartography is located in Madaba. I hope and pray that you have been blessed, that this place existing right now, one of the places that visitors visit, is in Jordan. God richly bless you until we meet again. Bye for now.